Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. If you're new here, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Today we have some drama that's, legitimately, it's just crimes. I don't really know why people on YouTube aren't really covering this as much as they should, as well as those very closely involved with David. For example, streamers Hasanabi, Pokimane, and Jason the Ween were very closely related to David doing collab streams, going into his music videos. However, no one has really pushed them for their response, which I think is ridiculous, considering that these very same streamers will go after anybody else for what their buddies are alleged for. However, these are the good boys, so nobody really wants to talk about them. But let's talk about David. Now, if you don't know who David is, he's a famous singer-songwriter, rapper, black guy, and this guy is about to be very uncomfortable. Prosecutors say David stabbed Celeste Rivas to death before he dismembered her body using chainsaws inside a garage, arguing the killing was carried out to prevent her from reporting a sexual assault. Prosecutors revealed that authorities recovered physical evidence from his garage consistent with dismemberment, and David attempted to conceal the crime afterward. Now, this is obviously very uncomfortable for anybody ever hearing about this, but the allegations are pretty damn severe. I would like to also say some clips have resurfaced of Jason the Ween from 7 months ago saying there's no way David ever did this shit. I know David. I was there with him. There's no way he could have done this shit. And a lot of people are claiming that Jason the Ween is covering up for David. Now, I want to say, I like to be very fair in what I'm saying. I don't want to hold Jason the Ween accountable for him believing in one of his friends. I don't think that that's fair to do. David operated within the confines where nobody knew what the fuck he was doing. So I think people sending hate Jason sending hate Jason's way are just idiots. Nobody really saw this coming, despite of how obvious it was from the outside perspective, because the internet knew that he was doing this about 7 to 8 months ago. Nobody else did. And, sometimes the internet just knows things. Good news is all the David emotes that were in Fortnite are getting full refunds to all of their players. XUC weighs in on this.
Fortnite is accepting refunds requested for D4vd Cosmetics. A user requested a refund to pay game support on September. It was confirmed. We hear your concerns. We have a bunch of changes. A bunch of changes rolling out over the time. Available Tuesday. When anyone purchases the item, will be able to immediate self-refund service.
If you don't know what XUC said there, he said
reference for D4vd Cosmetics player supports. Chat, why didn't they just refund everybody off the rip? Let's be honest.
That's honestly what they should do. Just refund everybody off rip. Get a fucking dub for Fortnite. Really that easy. Old footage resurfaced of David's producer confronting him about Celeste.
Ryan, is it Whitaker?
Is this fucking farm boy? I'll beat the shit out of
freak out.
Are you still dating that minor?
Fucking insane how the manager months ago already knew that David was talking to a minor. I want to remind you that when David first met Celeste, she was 11 years old. Fucking crazy. Prosecutors say David stabbed 14-year-old Celeste Rivas Hernandez to death to silence her from the rape. Prosecutors obtained text messages between the two from April 22nd, 2025. The night before her phone activity went quiet and they believe she was killed. The messages reveal the victim's jealousy over defendant's relation with other women. As defendant led her to believe they had a future together, she became extremely upset and threatened to disclose damaging information about her relationship with defendant to end his career and destroy his life. Prosecutors claim David brought 2 chainsaws online and he used them to dismember her body in an inflatable pool. Celeste's DNA was allegedly found in his garage, where prosecutors claim the dismemberment happened, knowing he had to silence the victim before she ruined his music career, as she had threatened very soon after her arrival at his home. Defendant stabbed the victim to death multiple times and stood by while she bled out, obviously shortly before chopping her up to pieces with a fucking chainsaw. Not only was this girl groomed, she was raped, sexually assaulted, completely mind-controlled, stabbed to death in a horrific, gruesome fashion, and then chopped up to pieces with chainsaws. This is a story straight out of the horror books. This is fucking insane. What the fuck did she even do to deserve that? That's so awful. Well, And all of this is alleged, of course, and we're going to wait for the jury's decision. But obviously, David allegedly was a pedophile, fucked a child, and then when the child found out that was groomed and raped, that she thought was consensual because she's 11 years old, she doesn't know what the fuck consent is. When she saw David with other girls, it broke her heart because she's been groomed to be obsessed with this man. And David, obviously knowing that if he's found out to be a predator pedophile, his music career is over. So in his mind, he had to have killed her. Numerous text messages between defendant and the victim evidencing their sexual relation, pregnancy, abortion, and the use of Plan B, emergency contraception. Messages through March 2025 proved defendant continued to manipulate the victim as she messaged, "All we do is have sex and just hang out. Man, I want more than that for myself." These messages were obtained from the defendant's iCloud data, which is crazy because that means that the pedophile accusations are completely proven. We still don't know about the murder chainsaw massacre. Let's keep going here.
I'll tell you guys a story. I had a friend whose girlfriend continuously broke his heart and was continuously doing things that he knows that she'll keep doing, and he'll keep on having to take her back because that love is so strong. And she'll keep promising that she'll change, but she never changes. And he'll be at the verge of breaking up with her and leaving her. And then she'll be like, "Wait, can you please wait for me? I'll change. I promise I'll change. I'll change soon. I'll fix these problems." And he'll be like, "Okay, maybe I do have this faith that you will change. So I'll stay, even at my own expense. I'm the one being hurt. I'm the one getting my heart broken. I'll stay because that love I have for you is so strong." And sometimes I wonder, as a simple person, as we all are simple people committing these things.
I don't know if this is directly referring to Celeste, but it lines up. But that's also a very common thing that happens in relationships. Does it line up? Yes, but I don't want to confirm that he was talking about Celeste here. David and Celeste Rivas reportedly met in 2022 when she was 11. Jesus. According to prosecutors, their sexual relationship began in November 2023 when she was 13 and he was 18. That is absolutely fucking psychotic. Celeste's family had first reported her missing in February and April 2024, and Riverside County Sheriff deputies called David after finding his number in Celeste's phone records. Celeste then returned home 2 days later, and her parents took her phone. Prosecutors said David got back in contact with Celeste by paying a student loan in her class for $1,000 to deliver a cell phone he had purchased for her. Prosecutors said that throughout 2024, the two traveled together as a couple to Las Vegas, London, and Texas. Good God. Where she met his family. There are numerous texts and explicit photographs from this period that make it clear they were having sex. It's repulsive to even read. Footage shows someone else driving David's Tesla on July 29th, the same day prosecutors say he killed Celeste Rivas and tried to move her remains. This is the footage. Very hard to make out anything. I got no idea what that could possibly be. Haven't been able to watch it in almost 2 weeks because of this job. Missed my favorite Jew. I'm not a Jew. Thank you for the dollar. An old Discord message, David revealed that he loved watching gore videos. Got to the point where I don't even cringe. Not really a good look for someone who's being alleged that they chopped someone up with a fucking chainsaw. Here's VSED breaking down the case. Let's see what's going on here.
We may now have evidence that Celeste's family knew about her relationship with David and allowed it. And this comment from 2024 is getting a lot of attention. So someone in Celeste's community commented on a post saying, "I live in Lake Elsinore, 5 to 10 minutes away. There was so much more going on. Her family knew he was with her since she was 11. They didn't care. All they cared for was the money given to them." She said, unfortunately, she was reported
a lot of minority families are like this, which is a shame.
Missing in 2024, but they all knew where she was. Even her friends extorted David with money so they wouldn't say where she was staying. I think the mom should be held responsible too for allowing a child to move in with a boyfriend at that age.
I absolutely agree. A parent needs to be held accountable for their child's actions, especially at that age. You know, for real. If your 11-year-old daughter is talking to a 17-year-old, what the fuck are we doing? I'm going to share a story of my own. I had a member of my extended family who I cared about a lot. Very young female. And she was at a very young age. And unfortunately, her mother was a BDSM prostitute. And so obviously, the father wasn't in the picture. And so the daughter learned to be overly interested in, things of that nature that her mom did because she wanted to make her mom proud. And so she became very sexually active at a very young age. And her mom willingly allowed her to have a 19-year-old boyfriend while she was 11. And no matter how much I berated this woman to take care of her daughter and how much I berated this woman on how fucking disgusting that she's allowing this shit to happen underneath her own house. She didn't fucking care. And what happened next will not surprise you. But it's disgusting. And I believe that parents are not held accountable enough nearly for what they allow their children to do. And I'm sorry, if your child is 11 years old, you need to be helicopter parenting the fuck out of those people. You do. You do. There was a 3-year period where, you know what? It's just a very sad story. Shit like this reminds me of how if I ever become a parent, it'd be good to instill the proper values into your children and really monitor what they're doing on the internet and who they're talking to, because freaks exist there everywhere. They are everywhere. And you truly need to take care of your children because they're stupid, man. They're fucking stupid. They're absolutely fucking stupid.
There's a lot more than what's being said. Here in Elsinore, all her friends are talking about it because she was in community.
You didn't call the police or CPS. That part of my extended family was removed, and I was told to never speak to any of them ever again, so I have done so.
With them. So sad. She said she would sneak out at age 11 even though her neighborhood is horrible, but her parents saw that he had money and became more dependent and would let her leave the house at 13 even though he was 18. She said her mother sold her for $10K a week and he paid so that he wouldn't be seen as a... which does add up with their Discord messages of her complaining about her parents and him saying, "Don't worry, I'll fix it." And the other crazy thing is that people found this comment on one of David's videos back in 2024 where
I do believe that a lot of more parents need to be held accountable for the activities of which they allow their children to partake in. I think this is fucking disgusting.
Someone named Robin River said he's waiting on the cops to get David for messing with minors.
Yeah, no, for real. He was legitimately purchasing a minor. That's a very good point, Trez.
This is long before
That's fucking disgusting.
many of us knew about.
Kids are stupid as fuck, but the problem is that kids don't know they're stupid as fuck. Kids are taught from shows that they know everything and that the adults are the dumb ones. So they get themselves into horrific business that they have no business being involved in. And when everybody warns them or doesn't warn them, they think that they know what they're doing. But a lot of TV shows always portray the kids as the smart one and the adults as the retards, right? So a lot of kids have all this fucking confidence in themselves when in reality, the smartest kids are the ones who understand that they're ignorant and are willing to learn.
About him and Celeste would be around 13 at that time. Since then, his account has blown up and people are waiting and hoping that whoever this is gives us some answers. Rest in peace to Celeste. Let me know what you guys think, and as anything comes out, I'll keep you guys updated.
Absolutely fucking disgusting. Why David is probably going to jail for decades? Yeah, we don't need anybody to break this down. It's because he raped a minor and then cut her up with a chainsaw. Pretty cut and dry. A life sentence isn't enough. They should have him like this forever.
A single drop would fall, hitting the prisoner's forehead. Then another falls, and another. Now at first it's just annoying, but the prisoner is strapped down, completely unable to move. And the drops keep coming, always landing in the exact same spot. As hours pass, the skin becomes raw, and each drop stings. They fall slowly, around one every few seconds. But the tap would shut off at random intervals, leaving the prisoner anxiously waiting for the next drop, slowly losing their minds. A single drop would fall.
Yeah. In my opinion, and I mean this isn't a shocking clickbait thing to say. This isn't for attention. I believe David should be publicly executed. I do. I believe that he should be drawn and quartered in the middle of Times Square for everyone to see. And I believe they should broadcast it to millions of people on the internet. I believe when you have these people capable of committing these horrific acts, unless you scare them, for all those watching, people like them, then more people will continue to do so. Jail is mercy. We need to execute them in excruciating fashion and make them regret every decision they ever made in life over the longest, most drawn out, gruesome punishment that can possibly be done to them. Whether that's putting them into a brazen bowl, whether that's tying their limbs to ropes and having horses attached to the ropes and running in opposite directions, putting them in a pot of boiling acid. We need to bring back public executions. Because if we don't, more people will repeat in the footsteps when they realize, oh, I'll just get to chill in jail for the rest of my life. Great. It's disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting. And it's hard even to know who to give thoughts and prayers to besides Celeste, because I would want to give them to her family, but her family is also responsible for getting her into this mess. And I do believe that. Absolutely disgusting. Like, comment, subscribe. I will provide updates if there are any. And my God, if you're parents out there, please watch what your kids are doing and make sure they're not getting into trouble like Celeste did, because this is really not as uncommon as you think. Horrific things happen every single day, and it's up to good parents to prevent them. Appreciate y'all. Bye-bye.